What is going on, everybody? Man, it has been a very long time since I put out another build video. And the reason for that is because we all know about Gear 2.0 coming into the Division 2. We already know about the changes to the builds that are going to be happening. But I wanted to go ahead and just continue putting out build videos because these are going to be great templates for you guys to use when that Gear 2.0 comes out. You know, I'll make another video later on, probably the next week or so, maybe even the next couple of days, and go over what you need to do to prepare for Gear 2.0 after Title Update 7, after Episode 3. So right now, you know, let's just go ahead and get right into this build video. I'm very excited. I've been working on this one for a very, very long time, all because there were a few things here that just were not synergizing really well. So without further ado, let's get right into the build video. I hope you guys really enjoy this. If you do, you know, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you are a recurring subscriber, man, it is great to have you back. Definitely all my newcomers, you know, likes are appreciated, subs are respected, and I cannot respect you guys enough for taking the time to watch the videos on this channel, all right? So you know what? Let's get right into the nitty-gritty of this build, and I will catch you around on the flip side. So from the footage that you saw just recently, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that was awesome? I mean, you're using a rifle, you're spec'd out, it is absolutely intense. If you guys liked what you saw, you're going to love this build. Anyways, so to start off, we're running the specialization Sharpshooter. Now, because of this, we're running that 25% headshot damage that comes with the Sharpshooter specialization, and the over amount of time you get, you know, your rifle ammo and you get your marksman rifle ammo. So over time you're going to get about 5. It's every few seconds or so. But where the point of this build is the headshots. But if you go back to Division 1, we are speccing this out to resemble DeadEye 2.0. Now, if you caught my last two videos, one was Striker 2.0, insane DPS, over 2.5 million, just with assault rifles alone. And then you've got your defense build with the shield. Those I highly recommend you go back to and you watch, because if you look at those videos and you compare it to what's in the first game in the first division, you will see how closely they resemble each other. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to understand and feel, you know, what it's like to have these builds in Division 2. Now, what I love about the DeadEye 2.0 build is that there's no damage to elites. You're not spec'd out for damage to elites. You're spec'd out purely with the raw damage that is being portrayed with your talents. Now, we know that in Gear 2.0, you're only going to have talents on your chest and on your backpack. So keep that in mind. But we're going to have enough time. You're going to have enough time to kind of get this build, feel it, and then be like, okay, so this is what I need to aim for when Gear 2.0 comes out, all right? But for now, let's just get right into this. So again, we're running the Sharpshooter specialization. For the primary weapon, we're running the military Mark 17. Damage is 52.7k with an RPM of 303 and then a mag of 40. The rifle itself handles a critical hit damage of 15%. Killer is the overall talent, and this is where it's kind of your bread and butter. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants plus 50% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. Allegro added 10% rate of fire. Transmission, while holstered, shock applied to the agent transfers to an enemy within 10 meters, can occur once every 60 seconds. Don't really care about transmission. You can have something like overlap. You can have something different. You can have rooted, whatever you want. Your bottom talent for the rifle is not really proprietary in this build. Now, for your top two talents, though, you definitely want to have Killer on there because it's going to grant you the 50% critical hit damage. And then for your middle talent, you know, Allegro is really good. If you have a quick trigger finger, Allegro can really benefit you. If you don't want Allegro, I highly recommend you use weapon handling. That will kind of give you your stability and your accuracy all in one. That way you're not moving all around the map when you're aiming. For the mods, we're running a 5% critical hit chance on the Rugged Mini Reflex sight. We're doing an added 20 rounds with a negative 10% reload speed for the 7.62 magazine slot. And then we're doing the 5% critical hit chance long underbarrel rail, and then a 10% accuracy for the large suppressor 7.62. Next, we're running Nemesis. Now, you could run two alternatives to your secondary. But the reason why I'm running Nemesis is because for that preparation, while holster gain added 50% headshot damage when scoped with your current weapon, and then of course you've got the charge up for it, which is 100% weapon damage based on how long the trigger is held before releasing. And then you've got your marksman rifle headshot damage of 121%, plus the added 25% headshot damage that you get with the sharpshooter specialization. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely change out the Nemesis with something like the Diamondback, or you could use the Diamondback as your primary and have a marksman rifle as your secondary, like the M700 Carbon or the SVD. Or you could be running Merciless and get that 5% chance to deal 100% damage as explosive damage, which would come in handy. With this build, though, situation is going to dictate just exactly what you're going to be using with every fight. So if you know you're going to be going up against a bunch of Warhounds, you're probably going to want to run Merciless just to take out the Warhounds quickly and to switch back to your Nemesis. If you know you're going to go up against heavies, you know you're probably going to want your Nemesis to do the headshots, to take off their helmets within like 3 shots. So keep that in mind. You know, run Nemesis, run Merciless, or run Diamondback. Those 3 I highly recommend. And then try and find yourself a definite marksman rifle that has Lucky Shot. For this one, I'm running Lucky Shot with the magazine capacity is increased by 20%, and then missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. And then you've got optimized at a 50% weapon handling. So definitely take into consideration, situation is going to dictate between the fights that you are going to have. Next, let's get into the gear. So we're running Punch Drunk. Now, as you can see, we're doing the 5% accuracy with the Douglas and Hardy brand set, and there's no damage to elites on this mask, and that is on purpose because I wanted to see what the raw damage, what the raw DPS for this build would be without damage to elites. And as you saw from the gameplay earlier, it was absolutely fine without damage to elites, and you're not going to have damage to elites when Gear 2.0 comes out. So it's better to start getting into the mindset now of using raw damage rather than not relying heavily on damage to elites. So with this, you're at a 3% critical hit chance with an added 20,745 health. We've got perfect concussion, headshots grant 20% to headshot damage for 2 seconds, 5 seconds with marksman rifles. Next, we have the Gila Guard. We're doing 2-piece right now, brand set, 5% total armor, 20% hazard protection. We've got an added 12,389 health, 11.5% critical hit damage, and 19% critical hit chance. We're doing Vigilance, gain 25% weapon damage, taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. For the mod slots, we're running an added 137 skill power, added 3.5% reload speed, 4,196 armor, 2.5% total armor, 5,456 health, 5,085 armor, 3.5% total armor, and 2% explosive resistance. So a lot of this is going to change. But keep it in mind, though, that this is just a base template. This is something for you to understand what to try and aim for when you're going to go into Gear 2.0. These are the certain things that you're going to want to have. Next, we've got the Wyvernware Didactyl Pad Holster with added 70% critical hit damage, 13.5% critical hit damage, added 10% critical hit chance. We've got Offensive Protocol critical, 2% weapon damage, 2% optimal range, 3.5% critical hit chance. Then we've got Gila Guard Big Horn Pack, 6% health, 10% critical hit chance, 9,220 armor, 223 armor added. Then we've got Spark, damaging enemies with skills or explosives grant 50% weapon damage for 15 seconds. And then we've got Self-Adjusting, 30% armor regeneration. Now, you could definitely remove Self-Adjusting. Find something else that you want. You could do Vital. You could do Harden. Anything that you feel is necessary. I haven't removed it yet because, I'm already running 243.5K of armor. If I added 50% Harden using the talent Harden, it would bring me up to 260,000. So it's not really that big of a deal. But definitely, if you want to remove Self-Adjusting, you're definitely going to want to have Spark on your backpack. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. For the mod slots, we've got Utility Mod, 101 skill power, 5% reload speed, 1% increased fuse duration. Then we've got Defensive System Bending, added 4,497 armor, 1% health, and 3.5% total armor. Next, we're doing the Overlord Armaments, Neptune Protection, 5% rifle damage, 10% rifle damage, so for 15% rifle damage in total, 3% marksman rifle damage, and then 30% hazard protection. Now, nothing on here has been modified. You could definitely, if you're going to run the rifle, highly get a higher rifle damage percentage. For talents, you could do something like Wicked. You could do something like Surgical if you really wanted to. Everything else is kind of really not there. You really can't use much because you have such high DPS, and your defensive is kind of, on the higher end rather than not being able to proc anything. So you kind of have a lot to work with here when it comes to your gloves. So it's all a matter of what you want to run and what you want to do for this build. Lastly, we're running the Araldi Holdings Dionys Rounded Padding. We've got added 10% accuracy, 4.5% critical hit chance, braced while in cover. Weapon handling is increased by 25%. We've got offensive system firearms, 1% weapon damage, 3% assault rifle damage, 4% rifle damage. For the skills, we're running the Fixer Drone. And I'm telling you this right now, you're not going to be able to proc anything because of such a low skill power. But this build is not revolved around skill power. So because of the mediocre armor that you do have, I highly recommend either running the Fixer Drone or the Defender Drone, whatever works for you. I find that the Fixer Drone comes back a lot quicker and it lasts a lot longer, and it helps you in certain situations. And then we've got the Seeker Mines, the Cluster Seeker Mines. Not going to be able to proc anything again, but to have those 3 Seeker Mines to use while you're running through your heroic missions to add that added damage, definitely helps alleviate a lot of stressors, especially when you feel that you're becoming overwhelmed with everyone else. Lastly, we're running the pistol, nothing too big here. In rhythm, while equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. Other than that, guys, this is the DeadEye 2.0 in a nutshell. I find this build to be a lot of fun. You could get through several heroics with this build. Again, situation is going to dictate what it is that you're going to be able to function with later on down the line. Keep in mind, a lot of this is going to change, but this is to give you an idea of what to strive for, what to aim for, and what you can get away with. And to start getting in the habit of not using certain talents in certain situations. But other than that, guys, I have nothing else further for you. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Really hope you take this build out, test it, run your heroic checkpoints, run your heroic mission solo. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like this DeadEye 2.0 build? If you're a Division 1 fan, what did you think of DeadEye? Does this closely resemble it? Because you're capped out. Let's go to the stats real quick. I'll show you. You're capped out at critical hit chance at 60%, and then you got your 72% critical hit damage with an 85% headshot damage. Now, once you proc killer, you're going to get that 50% critical hit damage. So if you go back, 72%, you're going to spike it beyond 100% critical damage. So you're going to get a lot of damage just from critical hits alone. So keep that in mind. Again, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I love this build. This build is a lot of fun. It's not as fun as Striker 2.0. And, you do have to take your time with it when you're running your missions. But, again, nothing absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, guys, thank you for stopping by. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try and be more avid and fluid and uploading more videos for you guys. I know it's been a while, and I do apologize for that wholeheartedly. So definitely leave whatever suggestions or comments you have down below. If you have any questions, you guys can hit me up on Twitter at PhoenixGaming_. Add me on Uplay, whatever the case may be. The name is the same on Uplay. And I will catch you guys around next time. Take care.